I'm Mel.
And I'm Janelle.
And this is The Murder Mamas.
The Murder Mamas.
Welcome.
Welcome. It is Thursday.
It's Thursday here, but we should start saying Happy Tuesday because the episodes come out on Tuesday.
You know, that's a really good point. And we should do that.
I was thinking about that the other day.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Today's Thursday.
Today's Thursday.
By the time this episode airs,
yes,
summer will be over.
Yes, kids go back to school on Tuesday.
Mine go on Monday. But yes, a day earlier.
I don't know why we had to start on Tuesday. Really?
It's such a weird, why?
I don't know.
It's not like there's a holiday.
No.
You know?
Yeah, who knows?
Whatever. Okay.
Yep.
So kids go back to school.
Yeah.
Summer's over.
Summer's over.
You get your 6 hours of sanity every day.
6 hours of sleep.
I get to start working.
Yes. Congratulations on the new job.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a
all from home.
big deal. It's nice.
It's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
And we can go to lunch during the week.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey. Nice. All right.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Today we're going to talk about Richard Benjamin Speck.
Dick Speck?
Dick Speck. Because he's a dick. He was born in Kirkwood, Illinois in 1941 and was...
always do these old motherfuckers.
Well, this was actually requested by my neighbor down the street, David. So, hi, David.
Hi, David.
Yeah, so this is why I'm doing this one.
A special request.
It's a special request.
Can I make a special request?
You can.
Your next person be born after 1970.
Okay. I'll try and look for one.
Okay.
All right.
Keys.
That's going to be a long one.
I know.
That would take a long time.
I know.
It's going to be weeks of preparation.
I know.
Yeah.
Good thing. Your kids are going back to school.
Yeah, it's true.
You can pack it all in.
That's true.
Full-time job.
It will be a
full-time job,
job.
baby. Full-time job. Okay. Anyways, back on track.
All right. He was born in 1941 and was the seventh of 8 children to Benjamin Franklin Speck and Mary Margaret Carbaugh. Yeah.
Okay. First off, that's a lot of kids.
Too many kids. 7 too many.
I was going to say 6 too many. But yes. That's too many kids for me to feel comfortable. Yeah. Also, Benjamin Franklin Speck.
Right. Yeah.
Poor man.
I don't know. That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
Anyway.
You know why there's always so many kids? Because you pick people who were born in 1940.
Yeah, that's true.
They had nothing else to do.
They had nothing else. No birth control, probably.
Yeah, no birth control.
Oh, and they were very religious, so yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Case closed.
Case
boys.
closed. Here we go. So the family moved to Monmouth, Illinois shortly after Speck's birth. He and his sister Carolyn, who was born in 1943, were much younger than their 4 older sisters and 2 older brothers. His mother was extremely religious. His father was not, but he didn't mind his wife being extremely religious. He didn't drink or do anything like that. He had a beer once at a fishing trip, and he got in trouble from his wife for doing that. So they weren't big drinkers.
Noted. Okay. You know what that reminds me of? Did you ever watch that 70s show?
Yeah.
So you know how the mom always makes Eric and his sister Lori go to church with her?
Yeah.
And Red never had to go to church?
Right.
I don't know why, but that's what I thought of.
Yep.
And they would always be like, why doesn't Dad have to come?
Because Dad's dad.
Mm-hmm. I'll put my foot in your ass.
Yeah. When you could speak to your children like that back then before having the cops called on you?
I don't know that I would ever speak to my children like that.
No.
Even if I was afraid of the cops being called. But, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. His father worked as a packer at Western Stoneware in Monmouth, having previously worked as a farmer and a logger. In 1947, when Speck was 6 years old, his father died from a heart attack at the age of 53.
Yikes.
Speck was reportedly very close to his father. His father took a liking to Speck and often would take him on father-son fishing trips. So, they had a real bond together. So, Speck took it really hard when his dad died.
Okay, so there's his childhood trauma.
There's his childhood trauma. And there's more. On May 10th, 1950, 3 years after the death of his father, his mother, Mary, married Carl August Rudolph Lindbergh in Palo Pinto, Texas.
It's a lot of names.
That's a name.
But May 9th is my brother's birthday. I'm
Seriously?
telling you. Every time.
It's May 10th.
I know, but it's close.
Yeah. So confusing.
What are the odds?
Yeah. She and Lindbergh had met during a train ride to Chicago. Lindbergh was a traveling insurance salesman from Texas with a 25-year criminal record that ranged from forgery to several DUIs.
Okay.
So he was a drunk ass.
Traveling salesman is
Always.
a no-go.
And then the traveling, we had a traveling clock salesman or something?
Yes. I think it was a clock. I don't know. And I also think he was in Texas. Texas.
Lots
what are
of
you
traveling
doing?
people back then. I think that's just what they did. They went door to door.
Yeah, because there was no internet. Because you keep taking people from the 40s.
It's true.
Sorry.
Okay. So, Lindbergh was also a hard drinker, which was the opposite of Speck's father. Speck and his sister Carolyn stayed with their married sister Sarah Thornton in Monmouth for a few months so Speck could finish the second grade before joining their mother and Lindbergh in rural Santo, Texas, 40 miles west of Fort Worth, Texas, where Speck had attended third grade. So I used to live in Dallas, not far from Fort Worth. Good Lord. In 1952, Speck's eldest brother, Robert, died in an automobile accident at the age of 23.
Okay, more trauma?
Yeah, more trauma. I just noted in there. In 1951, after a year in Santo, Speck moved with his mother, Lindbergh, and sister Carolyn to East Dallas. The family moved frequently, living at 10 different addresses, usually in poor neighborhoods, over the next 12 years. Yeah, that's got to be rough on the kids.
That's so rough.
It is rough.
Like, you never get to put roots down.
No.
No friends, nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
nothing. Yeah, that's hard. Speck loathed his stepfather, who was often drunk, verbally abusive, and was frequently absent. Yeah, so his life just completely changed.
Imagine having, like, a dad you were really close to.
Yeah.
Then he's gone, and then it gets replaced with, like, this total piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, as a mother.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know. My dad died when I was 5.
Yeah.
And my mom remarried, but
You
I love
him.
him.
I know.
Him.
You
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
how you love him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I lucked out.
I just don't know, like, if anything were to ever happen to Chris. Like, I can't imagine being like, okay, I'll just meet someone who's super unstable. You know, like,
there's no way.
that, like, welcome that instability into my life and the kid's life. Like, I couldn't.
No.
I couldn't.
It was a different time. Like,
I don't know. I know it was, but, like...
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I guess people didn't care so much about, like...
I don't think they did back then.
Their kids' mental.
I really don't think they did. It wasn't a thing that...
Yeah. I know my mom was, like, a young kid in the 50s and 60s, you know? And she would say, like, we were supposed to be seen, not heard. Like,
right.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah.
Don't talk.
My grandpa was a mean guy to my mom.
Yeah.
Like, she was not allowed to talk or do anything. Like, yeah.
And it's, like, just that, like, basic level of abuse.
I know. That's horrible.
Yikes. The bar was so low.
Yeah. It was very low back then.
Like, in the basement low.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's totally true.
It's really sad.
It is sad.
For all of those, like,
yeah,
hurt boomers.
Yeah.
You know?
Poor boomers.
It is.
It is.
Anyways.
Yeah. Speck loathed his Speck struggled in school, refusing to wear the glasses that he needed for reading. I feel like we talked about someone else that wouldn't wear their glasses, but I couldn't remember who when I was doing this. Or something that was they were made fun of. He repeated...
I can't think of who it was. Was it Sean Cross?
Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember for the life of me.
There was one.
It up, but wasn't there one? He wouldn't wear his glasses that he needed, and because he was being made fun of.
So why are you making fun of someone because they can't see?
I know, right?
Like, you take your 20/20 vision and shut your fucking mouth. Okay?
Shove it up your ass.
We all want 20/20 vision,
We
okay?
all want 20/20 vision.
Not all of us are that lucky.
Nope.
Looking at me.
Yeah,
and you.
and me.
Oh, I'm eligible for LASIK.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I had my eye appointment on your birthday.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
they told me that I was stable enough to be a candidate for LASIK.
I need to ask about
Yes.
that. Yeah.
So, anyways.
That's fun.
I was very excited.
That is expensive. All right. He repeated the 8th grade at J.L. Long Junior High School in part because of his fear of people staring at him and his refusal to speak in class. He was a very shy person, or boy. In autumn 1957, Speck started 9th grade at Kozer Technical High School but failed every subject. He did not return for the second semester, dropping out of school in January 1958 after his 16th birthday.
Is this one of the ones where I feel bad for the kid, but he's so terrible that it'll make it all go away?
Yeah, you're not going to like him. Okay. Having started drinking alcohol at the age of 12, I can't even imagine being 12 years old and drinking. Like, that's too young.
Is it? Is it?
I don't know, but Connor drinks sips of Auntie's beer all the time and, like, likes it. And I'm like, okay, alcoholic in the making. We got to stop that.
You got a problem.
we got an issue because Preston, he's like, oh, fuck no. But Connor's like, yeah, this is good.
Who likes beer? Ew. Connor.
Oh,
Get
Connor.
better taste.
Yeah, right?
No, I feel
12?
I feel like one of my brothers got real drunk off of the neighbor stole alcohol from her dad.
Right.
And made screwdrivers. It was vodka.
Oh, well,
orange
that's gonna
juice.
fuck you up.
And he was really drunk and he was vomiting
Yeah.
in the toilet.
Yeah.
And I was young and I was telling my mom that we ate chicken nuggets and that's why he was sick. Because I'm a ride or die for him.
Yeah.
As I was at the time.
Not anymore.
Well, he's better now.
Oh.
I think. I don't know. But I want to say he was like 12. And he struggled.
That's young.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously my parents didn't expect, like, they didn't think, like, I was lying.
Right.
First off, that I was lying to them. And second off, that's, you know, like, when you look at your kid, you're not like, that's what they're doing.
No.
You know, they also didn't think we were taking Lipton tea into the bushes and paper towels to smoke it like cigarettes to see if anything would happen.
You can do that? Did anything happen?
You can. Should you?
No.
No. Did I? Yes.
Never heard of that.
Yes, we did. And no, nothing ever happened.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so.
I mean, we're like the youngest kids.
Yeah.
We got into all the bad shit we weren't supposed to, you know?
That's true.
Like my brother dip.
Oh, God, yeah. I dated a guy who did that. It's so gross.
I did it when I was like 10.
Oh, God. It gave me, I made my head spin. There was no way.
I didn't know what it was.
Right.
So we did it, and like I rode my bike, and I got so dizzy, and I like threw up.
Yeah.
And then I had to go to cheer practice for Pop Warner later. Like, what? I hate that.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
And then I just became a smoker for like 10 years.
Me too.
Until I quit.
Yeah.
So.
Same here.
Anyways, back to this guy.
All right. So
started drinking at 12.
12. By the age of 15, he was getting drunk almost every day. That's a lot. His first arrest in 1955 at the age of 13 for trespassing was followed by dozens of other arrests for misdemeanors over the next 8 years.
Okay.
From 1960 to 1963, Speck worked as a laborer for the 7-Up bottling company in Dallas. In October 1961, Speck met 15-year-old Shirley Annette Malone at the Texas State Fair. She became pregnant 3 weeks after dating. The couple married on January 19th, 1962, and initially moved in with his sister Carolyn and her husband.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Quick cue.
Yeah.
How old was he?
Yeah, I think he was the same age.
60. When was he born? 41?
41.
He was 20.
20, okay.
She was 15?
15. They got married.
Okay, yuck.
Yeah. I don't know if there was a...
Probably not.
Probably not. I don't think there was a statue back then. because they quickly married. I think his mom pushed him into marrying her because he got her pregnant.
Well, and I also think, like, that still happens.
That does still happen. Yeah.
Like, underage girls get married to, like, these old fucking guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 5-year age gap, which is, like, terrible when you're 15 and 20.
But
like,
not when you're
Not
older.
when you're, like, 20 and 25 or, like, 25 and 30, whatever.
Right.
But, like...
Yeah.
And how do you become pregnant that fast?
I know.
3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Are you sure it's his?
I don't know.
No, I know. I'm just asking, like, it's a hypothetical.
No.
But, like, are you sure?
Yeah. Well.
That's perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Impeccable timing with your ovulation. Anyways, okay. Back to your story.
The couple married on January 19th, 1962, and initially moved in with his sister Carolyn and her husband. Speck's mother lived there as well, having separated from Lindbergh, who is now living in California.
Okay, so, like, I just brought this guy back, and, like, I just brought this guy into your guys' life
and then
to make you fucking miserable. But, like,
bye.
Yeah, I'm done with them.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow.
Speck stopped using the name Richard Benjamin Lindbergh when he got married and went back to using Richard Benjamin Speck.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that so much more than if she'd stayed with them till they both fucking died.
Right.
You don't get to just walk away after making your kids miserable.
I know.
What a bitch.
Yeah. His daughter, Robbie Lynn Speck, was born on July 5th, 1962, while Speck was serving a 22-day jail sentence for disturbing the peace after a drunken fight in McKinney, Texas.
Okay.
In July...
Her name was Robbie?
Huh?
Robbie?
Robbie Lynn.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, it is cute. In July 1963, at the age of 21, Speck was sentenced to serve 3 years in prison after being convicted of forgery and burglary. Speck had forged and cashed a co-worker's $44 paycheck and also robbed a grocery store for cigarettes, beer, and $3 in cash.
The amount of money there.
I can't.
It's like so pitiful.
Not that much.
It's like so pitiful.
It's not going to get you very far.
$44 paycheck?
Yeah, I know.
I know it's 1960s.
But
like,
still, that's... 40.
And $3?
And $3 in cash. Yeah. He was paroled in 1965 after serving 16 months at the Texas State Penitentiary in Huntsville, Texas. His release lasted a week. Speck was arrested again on January 9th, 1965. He had attacked a woman in the parking lot of her apartment building, wielding a 17-inch carving knife, but fled when the woman screamed. The police arrived within minutes and apprehended Speck a few blocks away. He was convicted of aggravated assault, given a 16-month sentence to run concurrently with a parole violation sentence, and returned to prison in Huntsville. However, due to an error, he was released just 6 months later upon completion of his parole violation sentence on July 12th, 1965.
That's Po's birthday.
Oh, shit. After his release, Speck worked for 3 months as a driver for the Patterson Meat Company. Although he had 6 accidents in the company's truck, he was fired for failing to show up for work. So, I don't know what the accidents were, but I'm assuming they probably involved alcohol. 6 times. Who gets 6 times to fuck up the company's truck and still work and have a job?
Oh my god, they must have been so desperate. Was there a labor shortage?
Probably.
Like,
shit. Yeah.
Oh my god. And then get fired for not showing up.
showing up.
Like, if I had fucked up 6 times and crashed the company vehicle 6 times, bitch, I am at work on time, 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yep.
I am there. There, bells on, ready to go.
Ready to go.
What is it? Like, bright-eyed and bushy
tails.
Just, here I am.
Hey.
Hi.
Sorry about the 6 accidents. My bad.
I'm so sorry. My bad.
In December 1965, upon the recommendation of his mother, Speck moved in with a 29-year-old divorced woman, an ex-professional wrestler and now bartender at his favorite bar, Jenny's Lounge, to babysit her 3 children. I'm sorry. Now he's going to babysit for money, living in this woman's home. That's not the man I would choose to watch my children, but that's just me.
No! Absolutely not.
In January...
No, you don't get to keep going. No. I need to unpack that. Absolutely not.
No.
This 29-year-old mother.
Yeah.
You're fucking up your kids, ma'am.
But she was an ex-professional wrestler, so she could probably kick his ass if he did anything. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What is that thing? Like facepalm? Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did no one give a shit?
No one gave a shit back then. I don't think people, like, thought anything bad could happen. You know, like, people just trusted people.
That's a foreign concept
I
to
don't know.
me.
I think, yeah.
People trust others, huh?
People trusted others. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. I mean...
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. And also, insane.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. In January 1960...
Did she know about the criminal history?
I don't know.
Where's his
I don't know
daughter?
if she did a background check.
Did I miss you talking about where his daughter and wife are?
Oh, no, they're gone. They don't live together anymore.
So
They separated.
They separated.
Yeah.
Okay, I just missed that.
Yeah. No, I probably didn't say it.
Okay.
I'm telling you now.
Was it when he attacked the
Probably.
the lady with the 17-inch knife?
He was over it pretty
The
fast.
2-foot long fucking knife.
Yeah.
Baby girl, I hope you went back to your family.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing well. I hope your baby's doing well.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Oh my God.
where am I?
I'm sorry.
I don't even know where my place is.
Something about the lady.
Oh, yeah. Okay. In December 1965, upon the recommendation of his mother, Speck moved in... Oh, I already read that. Oh, my gosh. Totally. In January 1966, Malone, who had been separated from Speck, filed for divorce. That same month, Speck stabbed a man in a knife fight at Jenny's Lounge. He was charged with aggravated assault, but a defense attorney hired by his mother, which I think is really strange because his mother was really strict and really religious, but she comes to his defense more than once by hiring lawyers and stuff to get him out of trouble. I think that's weird.
I mean, a mother's love.
A mother's love, I
Maybe
guess.
Maybe she has guilt.
Maybe.
Maybe there's like some guilt there.
Maybe there was guilt there.
And she's like,
yeah.
This is what I can do.
Yeah.
Like, I can't take back fucking subjecting you to all this terribleness.
Right.
But, like, I can protect you
you now. Yeah. Speck was fined $10 and jailed for 3 days after he failed to pay the fine. This was the last time Speck was in police custody in Dallas.
He could have robbed 3 stores.
I know, right? Paid the fine. On March 5th, 1966, Speck bought a 12-year-old car and then robbed a grocery store following the evening, stealing 70 cartons of cigarettes, which he then sold out of the trunk of his car in the grocery store's parking lot.
I know we're not even to the murdery stuff, and there's like so many pages. This is gonna be a long one because we cannot stop talking.
Yeah.
This guy.
He's a piece of work.
He's so. This like what?
I know. 70 cases of cigarettes.
He's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like you were just gonna steal it and
sell it in the parking lot.
In the same parking lot.
In the same parking lot.
Nothing to see here, guys. Sir, where'd you get all those cigarettes that matches the same ones stolen from this beautiful establishment right behind you? No clue.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I found them.
Found them, bro.
It's like, did you ever watch Cops?
Yes.
Like back in
course.
the day.
Oh, yeah.
When people would be like, I don't know how those drugs got there. This isn't mine. This isn't my backpack. This isn't my car.
Yeah.
You're driving it and it's registered to you. No, this isn't mine.
Shit. No.
I saw one cop one time did that to someone who was like, I don't know, trying to buy drugs or something.
Yeah.
And was like, no, that's not my money. This is mine. He's like, oh, so the money fairy just flew around and dropped some money in your car? Can you call them back so I can get some money from... Cop went off about the money fairy. It was so funny. Anyways, okay, I'll stop interrupting.
Okay.
Shutting my trap.
Shutting your trap. Okay. The police traced the car, which Speck had abandoned, and issued a warrant for his arrest for burglary on March 8th. He had been apprehended under that warrant. It would have been his 42nd arrest in Dallas and would have surely resulted in another prison term. 42nd arrest in one city. On March 9th, 1966, Speck's sister Carolyn drove him to the Dallas bus depot where he took a bus to Chicago, Illinois. Speck stayed with his sister Martin Thornton and her family in Chicago for a few days and then returned to his boyhood hometown of Monmouth, Illinois, where he initially stayed with some old family and friends. Speck's brother Howard was a carpenter in Monmouth and found a job for him standing plasterboard for another Monmouth carpenter. Speck became angry when he learned his ex-wife had remarried 2 days after she was granted a divorce on March 16, 1966. He moved to the Christie Hotel in downtown Monmouth on March 25th and spent most of his time in the downtown taverns. At the end of March, while Speck and some acquaintances were on a bar-hopping trip to Gulfport, Illinois, they were detained overnight by police there after Speck reportedly threatened a man in a tavern restroom with his knife.
Jesus, man, put your fucking knife away and chill. You need to chill.
He needs to chill out.
Wow.
Yeah. On April 3rd, Mrs. Virgil Harris, a 65-year-old resident of Monmouth, returned home at 1 a.m. to find a burglar in her house brandishing a knife. He was a 6-foot-tall white man who was, quote, very polite and spoke, quote, very softly with a southern drawl.
It was Dick Speck, wasn't it?
It was Dick. Okay. The man blindfolded her, tied her up, raped her, ransacked her house, and stole the $2.50 she had earned babysitting that evening. Rude.
So many parts of that make me sad. First off, the 65-year-old woman who's babysitting until the wee hours of the morning.
1 a.m.
And then everything he did to her.
Yeah.
And that she only got $2.50
for
babysitting. And everything he did to her.
Yeah, that's right.
Mostly everything he did to her. And then all the other parts
of it.
Also upsetting.
A week later, Mary Catherine Pierce, a 32-year-old barmaid who worked at her brother-in-law's tavern, Frank Place, in downtown Monmouth, was last seen leaving... the fucking city name. Was last seen leaving the tavern at 12 a.m. on April 9th. She was reported missing on April 13th, and her body was found that day in an empty hog house behind the tavern. She had died from a blow to her abdomen that ruptured her liver. Can you imagine? That's got to be so rough. I can't. Yeah.
What's a hog house?
Where they keep hogs?
Did the hogs eat her?
No.
Pigs eat
I think
anything?
it was an empty hog house.
Oh.
Yeah.
But they will eat bodies, won't they? Hogs?
Oh, yeah. Or
pigs?
Yeah, they'll eat everything. Like, you'll be done. They eat bone. They eat everything.
You know there's hogs in the woods around us?
Yeah, I'm sure there are. They'll eat you.
I know. It always scares me when I walk on the green belts.
You should bring a blowhorn with you.
No, something about they smell you from really far away, so they're afraid.
Oh.
Not afraid, but like they don't
so
want
they're
to
not
deal with you.
They're not gonna attack you.
I mean, they will
if they're hungry enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're like notoriously hard to spot.
Yeah.
I just wonder how many are around.
I don't know. Okay. Speck had frequented Frank's place, and the empty hog house was one of several he had helped build in the preceding month. So Monmouth police briefly questioned him about Pierce's death when he showed up to collect his final carpentry paycheck on April 15th and asked him to stay in town for further questioning. When police showed up at the Christie Hotel on April 19th to continue questioning Speck, they discovered he had left the hotel a few hours earlier, carrying his suitcases and saying he was just going to the laundromat.
Shocking.
Yeah. He instead
Color me surprised.
left town. A search of his room turned up a radio and costume jewelry Mrs. Virgil Harris had reported missing from her house, as well as items reported missing in 2 other local burglaries in the previous month.
So this is his first murder? Is that barmaid?
Yeah. On April 19th, 1966, Speck returned to stay at his sister Martha's second-floor apartment at 3966 North Avondale Avenue in Old Irving Park neighborhood on the northwest side of Chicago, where she lived with her husband, Gene Thornton, and their 2 teenage daughters.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Martha had worked as a registered nurse in pediatrics before she was married, and her husband Gene worked nights as a railroad switchman. Speck told them an unbelievable story about having to leave Monmouth after refusing to, quote, sell narcotics for a crime mob there. They did not believe him. or his story. Yeah.
Smart.
Gene Thornton, who had served in the U.S. Navy, thought that the U.S. Merchant Marine might provide a suitable occupation for his unemployed brother-in-law. So on April 25th, he took Speck to the U.S. Coast Guard office to apply for a letter of authority to work as an apprentice seaman.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the Merchant Marine?
It's like when you go to the boats and you're going to work on the boats, go out fishing or do whatever they do.
This motherfucker
Yeah.
is a great candidate to join the military of some sort, right? The Coast Guard.
Yeah, something like that.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. The U.S. Navy, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So on April 25th, he took Speck to the U.S. Coast Guard office to apply for a letter of authority to work as an apprentice seaman. The application required being fingerprinted and photographed and having a physical examination by a doctor. Speck found work immediately after obtaining the letter of authority, joining the 33-member crew of Inland Steel's Clarence B. Randall, an L6S B1 class bulk or lake freighter. Freighter. On April 30th. Speck's, yes.
They fingerprinted him?
Yeah.
Background checks weren't a thing yet?
I don't think background checks were a thing. They fingerprinted him and photographed him.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Speck's
God, I wish it was that easy.
I know, right?
Can you imagine if it was that easy
Back
to get
then?
a fucking job?
Yeah.
They're just giving them away.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's different.
Okay.
Speck's first voyage on the Clarence B. Randall was brief since he was stricken with appendicitis on May 3rd and was evacuated by U.S. Coast Guard helicopter to St. Joseph's Hospital in Hancock, Michigan on the peninsula of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where he had an emergency appendectomy. That was rough.
Yeah, you struggled with that. Words are hard, girl.
Words are hard.
It's okay.
After he was discharged from the hospital, Speck returned to stay with his sister Martha and her family in Chicago to recuperate. On May 20th, he rejoined the crew of the Clarence B. Randall, on which he served until June 14th, when he got drunk and quarreled with one of the boat's officers and was put ashore on June 15th.
I love quarreled.
I know. For the following week, Speck stayed at the East St. Elmo and East Side Chicago Flop House at East 99th Street and South Ewing Avenue. Speck then traveled by train to Hutton, Michigan, staying at the Douglas House to visit Judy, and I have no idea how to pronounce his name, Laakaniemi. Judy L., a 28-year-old nurse's aide going through a divorce, whom he had befriended at St. Joseph's Hospital. On June 27th, after Judy gave him $80 to help him find work, Speck left again to stay with his sister Martha and her family in Chicago for the next 2 weeks. She gave him $80. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
People were cashing their paychecks at $44. That was pretty nice of her.
That was very nice of her. Does he kill her?
No.
Okay.
On June 30th,
That was nice of him.
Yeah. That was nice of him. On June 30th, Speck's brother-in-law Gene drove him to the National Maritime Union hiring hall at 2335 East 100th Street in Jeffrey Manor neighborhood of South Deering, Chicago, to file his paperwork for a seaman's card. The NMU hiring hall was 1 block east of 5 attached 2-story brick houses, 3 of which were occupied by South Chicago Community Hospital senior student nurses and Filipino exchange registered nurses. 8 of these nurses lived in the eastmost townhouse at 2319 East 100th Street, just 150 feet from the NMU hiring hall. On Friday, July 8th, 1966, Speck's brother-in-law Gene drove him to the NMU hiring hall to pick up his seaman's card and register for a berth on a ship. Speck lost out that day to a seaman with more seniority for a berth on the SS Flying Spray, a C-1A cargo ship bound for South Vietnam, and returned to his sister Martha's apartment for the weekend.
Dude, I'm sorry, but Gene is doing the most to get this motherfucker
He's
away from him.
trying to just be like, peace out.
I will... Honey, I will do anything to get your fucking deadbeat, weird-ass brother as far away from us as possible.
Yep.
He's doing
He's
the
doing
most.
it. He's doing it. By Monday, July 11th, Speck had outstayed his welcome with his sister Martha and her family. After packing his bags and again being driven by his brother-in-law to the NMU hiring hall to await a berth on a ship, Speck stayed the night. Oh, did I already say that? No. At Pauline's rooming house, about 1 mile away at 3028 East 96th Street in the Vets Park neighborhood of South Deering, Chicago. On Tuesday, July 12th, Speck
birthday?
Oh, Jesus. Speck returned to the NMU hiring hall. In mid-afternoon, he received an assignment on Sinclair Oil's tanker SS Sinclair Great Lakes, which was a 30-minute drive away in East Chicago, Indiana.
Okay, I'm so, not confused, but, the process of getting work seems very strange.
Well, I think
you show up at some hall and just
first come, first serve kind of thing.
And I'm sure it goes on seniority if I learned anything from watching The Wire too many times. Right. There's a season about the dock workers and their union and stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. It's a weird way to get work.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder if it's still like that to this day.
Well, I think you can go pick up helpers at Home Depot to help you move or do things.
I know, I'm saying for this industry, I wonder.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's
really
I said workers.
You said helpers.
Helpers, workers.
They're being paid.
They're being paid. They're not. What are they called?
I don't know why. I'm thinking of Reno 911. Did you ever watch that show?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
There's the homeless, I don't even know if he's homeless, but the gay guy played by, I cannot think of the actor's name right now. Yeah. And the cops stop him because he's giving someone a hand job or a blowjob or something. And they're like, do you even have a job? He's like, a blowjob's still a job.
It's true. It is a job.
Or a hand job, still a job. I can't remember. I just butchered that, but it's so funny.
That is funny.
New boot goofing.
Okay.
Okay, back to your thing about boats.
In mid-afternoon, he received an assignment on Sinclair Oil's tanker. Yeah. When he arrived there, he found that his spot had already been taken, and he was driven back to the NMU hiring hall, which was then closed. Speck did not have enough money for a rooming house, so he dropped his bags off 6 blocks east at the Manor Shell filling station and slept in an unfinished house just off East 103rd Street. So that's weird.
Okay.
But yeah.
So he's homeless.
Yeah. On Wednesday, July 13th, Speck picked up his bags and checked in at the NMU hiring hall. He was angry for being sent to a non-existing assignment, and he talked for 30 minutes in the car with his sister Martha and her husband Gene, who had driven down to visit him at 9 a.m. He just can't get away from him. They parked on East 100th Street next to Lula Elementary School across the street from the townhouses where the nurses lived. At 10:30 a.m., he was tired of waiting at the NMU hiring hall for a job. Speck had $25 that his sister had given him, and he left and walked about 1.5 miles east on East 100th Street to check in at a Shipyard Inn at East 101st Street and South Avenue Inn. The inn was on the east side of Chicago. Speck spent the rest of the day drinking in nearby taverns before he accosted Ella Mae Hopper at Knife Point. She was a 53-year-old woman who had spent the day drinking at the same taverns that Speck had patronized. Speck took her to his room at the Shipyard Inn, raped her, and stole her black $16 mail-order .22 caliber pistol. He then left dressed entirely in black, armed with a switchblade and Ella Mae Hopper's handgun. After dinner at the nearby Kay's Pilot House, Speck returned to drink at the Shipyard Inn's tavern until 10:20 p.m. and walked about 1.5 miles west on East 100th Street to the nurse's townhouse at 2319 East 100th Street. At 11 p.m. on July 13th, 1966, Speck broke into 2319 East 100th Street townhouse in Chicago's Jeffrey Manor neighborhood. The townhouse was functioning as a dormitory for student nurses.
Oh,
he entered
where this is
and
going.
He entered and using only a knife killed Gloria David, Patricia Mastick, Nina Jo Schmal, Pamela Winkling, Suzanne Ferris, Marianne Jordan, Merletta Gorilla, and Valentino Passion. Speck, who later claimed he was both drunk and high on drugs, may have originally planned to commit a routine burglary. Speck held the women in a room for hours, leading them out one by one, stabbing or strangling each one to death. Then finally raping and strangling his last victim, 22-year-old Gloria Davy.
Oh.
Yeah, interviews of between 20 and 30 minutes elapsed between each murder. So he had gone in there and tied them up and then taken them out of the room one by one to murder them in a different room.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many women was that?
8.
8?
Mm-hmm. 8 nurses. Like young. 20-year-olds. Yeah. One woman, Corazon Amaro, escaped death because she crawled and hid under a bed while Speck was out of the room. Speck possibly lost count or may have known 8 women lived in the townhouse, but was unaware that a 9th woman was spending the night. Amaro stayed hidden until almost 6 a.m.
I don't know why. I just remembered that I know about this.
Yeah. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've totally heard about this.
Mm-hmm.
It only took how long have we been talking?
It's 40 minutes.
It only took 40 minutes for me to realize I knew
Yep.
what we're talking.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Also Big Bundy vibes.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. For sure.
Or maybe Bundy copied him.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Fingerprints found at the scene were matched to Speck because he had the fingerprints done at the ship.
Finally.
Yep. 2 days after the murder, Speck was identified by a drifter named Claude Lunsford. Speck, Lunsford, and another man had been drinking the evening of July 15th on the fire escape of the Star Hotel. On July 16th, Lunsford recognized a sketch of the murder in the evening paper and phoned the police at 9:30 p.m. after finding Speck in his room at the Star Hotel.
Good job.
The police, however, did not respond to the call, although their records show the call had been made. Speck then attempted suicide at the Star Hotel desk phone in the emergency around midnight. Speck was taken to Cook County Hospital at 12:30 a.m. on July 17th. At the hospital, Speck was recognized by Dr. Leroy Smith, a 25-year-old surgical resident physician who had read about the, quote, Born to Raise Hell tattoo in a newspaper story. So he had a Born to Raise Hell tattoo on his arm.
Sounds basic.
Yeah, it is kind of basic. It's not very scary. Born to Raise Hell? Okay, whatever, dude. You do you.
Yeah. Fucking hard ass.
Yeah.
I don't. Ugh.
The police were called and Speck was finally arrested. Concerns over the recent Miranda case that had vacated the convictions of a number of criminals meant Speck was not even questioned for 3 weeks after his arrest.
Oh, this must have been right when, like, Miranda rights were becoming a thing.
Felony court Judge Herbert J. Passion appointed an impartial panel to report on Speck's competence to stand trial and his sanity at the time of the crime. A panel of 3 physicians suggested by the defense and 3 physicians selected by the prosecution consisted of 5 psychiatrists and 1 general surgeon. What the fuck's a general surgeon doing there? He has no...
I mean, he has, like, medical knowledge.
Yeah, but not psychiatry. I mean, they're testing his psyche to see if he's fit to stand trial. A surgeon
what did they
does
say?
surgeon
Did they
things.
say yes or no?
The panel's confidential report deemed Speck competent to stand trial and concluded he had not been insane at the time of the murders.
Well, then I agree that the general surgeon was a fine person to be there.
I just think it's weird. I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, what if it was, like, contention? Like, the psychiatrists are like, this guy,
that's
totally fit, and the surgeon's like, nah.
Nah, dude. While awaiting trial, Speck participated in twice weekly sessions with a part-time Cook County jail psychiatrist, Dr. Marvin, and I'm going to say Z, because I don't know how to pronounce his last Ziporyn. Ziporian.
Z sounds good.
Z.
Dr.
Marvin Z.
Dr. Z.
These continued after Speck's transfer from Surmark Medical Hospital inside Chicago's House of Corrections on July 29th, 1966 until February 13th, 1967, the day before Speck was transferred to Priorio to stand trial. Dr. Z prepared a discharge summary with depression, anxiety, guilt, and shame among Speck's emotions, but also a deep love for his family. It went on to note an obsessive compulsive personality and a, quote, Madonna prostitute attitude towards women. Dr. Z maintained Speck viewed women as saintly until he felt betrayed by them for some reason, after which hostility developed. So I think he thought that, like, women were awesome until he had sex with them and could tell that they were a sex worker. And then he lost all interest in them.
Okay. Just want to add the name of the city is Peoria.
Peoria. What did I say? Peoria.
I think so.
Peoria. Okay.
Peoria. I only know that because that's where the Padres have their training camps in Arizona.
Yeah, they
Not
do.
in Chicago, but...
Speck was also diagnosed with organic brain syndrome resulting from cerebral injuries he had suffered early in his life, and stated he was competent to stand trial but was insane at the time of the crime due to the effects of alcohol and drug use on his organic brain syndrome.
What the fuck is
I don't know what that
syndrome?
is, but I know in the documentary I watched, he drank, and then a lot of people told me, or a lot of people said on the documentary, that he took a lot of pills. So I don't know what kind of pills he was on, but he drank and did pills.
Okay, hold on. Organic brain syndrome is defined as a state of diffuse cerebral dysfunction associated with a disturbance in consciousness, cognition, mood, affect, and behavior in the absence of drugs, infection, or metabolic cause.
That was too long for me.
I didn't understand it. I mean, like, I know what all those words are, but, like, together?
Yeah, it's too much.
Okay, well... Jury's still out on what that is.
Dr. Z did not testify for the defense or the prosecution, as both sides were troubled to learn before the trial that Dr. Z was writing a book about Speck for financial gain. Dr. Z also earned the ear of the Cook County Jail, which fired him as its part-time psychiatrist the week after Speck's trial ended. At this point during his interview with Speck, Dr. Z had obtained a written 3-sentence consent form from Speck authorizing him to tell what I am really like. Dr. Z's biography of Speck was published in the summer of 1967. Speck later claimed he had no recollection of the murders, but he had confessed to the crime to Dr. Leroy Smith at the Cook County Hospital. Smith did not testify because the confession was made while Speck was sedated. Illinois Supreme Court Justice John J. Stamos, Cook County State Attorney, when Speck was tried, who knew of the hospital confession, stated, quote, "We didn't need it. We had an eyewitness." Speck confessed to the murders for the first time in public when he spoke to the Chicago Tribune columnist Bob Greene in 1978. In a film that inmates made at the Statesville Correctional Center in 1988, Speck recounted the brutal murders in detail.
Wait, a film?
Yeah.
So the inmates are making a film?
In the documentary, they were showing 2 inmates talking to each other, Speck and then another guy. And they were just telling each other about their crimes. And like 5 minutes later, I'm taking notes, and like 5 minutes later, I look up, and then he's completely naked except for underwear. He's in this interview. He was fully clothed when I was watching, and then I looked down to take notes. I look back up, and he's got man boobs that fall down and everything. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Put your clothes back on. It was really funny.
I just why are inmates making...
I don't know.
Documentaries?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay.
Yep.
Weird things being weird.
Yeah.
I'll file that under that.
He again stated he was high that night, but then he undercut the idea that the drugs were a mitigating factor, asserting he could just as well have, quote, done it sober. Speck's jury trial began April 3rd, 1967 in Peoria, Illinois, 3 hours southwest of Chicago, with a gag order on the press. In court, Speck was positively identified by the sole surviving student nurse, Corazon Amaro.
Amarillo.
When Amarero was asked if she could identify the killer of her fellow students, she rose from her seat in the witness box, walked directly in front of Speck, and pointed her finger at him, nearly touching him, and said, quote, "This is the man." Fuck yeah. Badass bitch.
You go, bro.
In addition, Lieutenant Emil Gacy testified that fingerprints at the scene had matched to Richard Speck. On April 15th, after 49 minutes of deliberation, yeah, right, you're screwed. It's not a good sign.
Yeah, you know you got a bad time when it takes 49 minutes.
The jury found Speck guilty and recommended the death penalty.
That has to be one of the quickest ones.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Has to be one of the quickest jury deliberations.
Well, 8 nurses, like, you're gonna get
But 49 minutes.
But 49, yeah.
Honestly, 49 minutes kind of seems too long.
Yeah, it kind
of
of
imagine they walk somewhere and, like, sit down and get situated, but, like...
And I'm sure they have rules told to them and all that kind of stuff, before, like... And then they have to take a vote and do all that, so maybe it was less than an hour. So...
That's really fast.
It is really fast.
I feel like that's, like... The verdict's in, you're like, oh...
Yep, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
On June 5th, Judge Herbert J. Passion sentenced Speck to die in the electric chair, but granted an immediate stay pending automatic appeal. I don't understand that. The Illinois Supreme Court upheld his conviction and death sentence on November 22nd, 1968. On November 21st, 1972, Judge Richard Fitzgerald re-sentenced Speck from 400 to 1,200 years in prison, 8 consecutive sentences of 50 to 150 years, which was then reduced to 100 to 300 years. He was denied parole.
None of that matters.
I know. I don't know.
So stupid. I mean,
just say life.
Yeah, like
12.
Is there
150 years?
Is there a reason why it's like?
I think maybe it gives the family like each.
Yeah.
Years for each person. So.
But like.
I know it's obscene, but.
No one lives to be that old. Like.
But I think it's just out of respect for the families. Like 150 years per nurse that he murdered. Like
I get that, but like again, just say life.
Just say life. Yeah. He was denied parole in 7 minutes at his first parole hearing on September 15th, 1976, and at 6 subsequent hearings in 77, 78, 81, 84, 87, and 90.
Did they all take 7 minutes?
Probably.
Again, when you're at a parole hearing and it takes 7 minutes, that's how you know. You're like,
nah, not going to happen.
Okay.
Shortly before December 5th, 1991, Speck was transported from Stateville Correctional Center to Silver Cross Hospital in Illinois after complaining of severe chest pains. Speck later died in the early morning hours of December 5th of what was believed to be a heart attack, 1 day shy of what would have been his 50th birthday. The coroner stated that Speck had a, quote, enlarged heart, emphysema, and clogged arteries, which most likely contributed to his fatal heart attack. Speck's sister feared that his grave would be desecrated, so he does not have an identified physical resting place. Speck was cremated, and his ashes were scattered in a secret location in the Joliet area.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Would have been.
But who cares?
It kind of deserves to be, but then it's like a hard spot. 'Cause like, yeah, they did something terrible, but like, that's your brother.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a lot. I mean, he was getting in trouble all the time and then staying with her, and...
I feel like you have blinders on when it's the people closest to you.
I'm sure.
And
then his mom kept bailing him out of jail, like, even though she was religious and didn't believe in drinking.
No. I feel like I wouldn't.
I think at that point, if you murdered 8 people, I wouldn't come to your defense, I don't think. My child. I mean, I'd still love them, but I wouldn't try to bail them out of jail. You murdered 8 people. 8 nurses. Young nurses. People who were going to serve their community.
You have a lot of respect for nurses.
Well, just saying, like, that's a service job. Like, I would never do a service job. Like, police officers is a service job. Nurses in the service industry. Like, I don't like you. I would never do that. I'm going to sit here and do my podcast and raise my kids, and that's it.
Yeah, no, and I'm not making excuses or saying, like...
Right. Not that they matter more than anybody else.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it like that, but...
No, I'm saying, like, for him. I'm not being, like, have sympathy for him.
Right.
But I can see, like, where the sister...
Yes. They were very close
like, it's...
in age. Their brothers and sisters were all older than them, so, like, they bonded at a very early age.
I think about my brother. Like, if that were my brother...
Yeah.
I wouldn't want his grave desecrated either, even if he did terrible things.
That's true. Like, I wouldn't want my child's... Yeah. Or my brother. Well, not a brother, but... If I did.
My hypothetical brother.
My hypothetical brother.
I mean, it's like a terrible spot to be in.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
It's pretty sad. But he did murder 8 people.
He definitely did murder more than
9 people.
9.
One more. No.
Yeah. Is he tried at all for her murder or no?
I don't think so. I don't think anything happened with her.
Well,
the documentary mostly focused on the 8 nurses.
I'm assuming if they were including that one, it would have been like different jurisdictions and shit. So yeah. I'm sure they would have touched on it.
Probably. Yeah.
But he's a real fucked up dude.
He is a fucked up dude. He just got in trouble. How do
you get arrested 42 times?
That would be the longer rap sheet that I had at my job. 42 times would be probably like 108 pages or something.
I've made it through 32 years of life and I've never been arrested.
I've been arrested twice.
You fucking heathen. Of course you've been arrested.
I had a DUI and a drunk in public.
No.
But I was never I never had to strip search or take off I was always just in the drunk tank and then they let me go. It wasn't like an
overnight event.
I didn't have to do any of that. Yeah, it was just a few hours.
Just a few hour inconvenience.
It was scary. Jails are scary. The people are really mean in there.
Like the officers?
The officers taking your fingerprint. They took all my fingerprints and then they gave me something to wipe them off and it wasn't coming off, so I grabbed another napkin and she was like, "No, you don't," and she took it back. I was like, what the fuck?
Yikes.
Okay, take your napkin back.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very...
Maybe they have a strict budget. 1 napkin per arrestee.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of shocking, but not for now, but for 10 years ago me, maybe 15 years ago me.
That's not shocking for me back then. But now it would be. I'm not like that anymore.
No.
Meds.
And therapy.
And therapy.
That doesn't work.
It does.
I know. Okay, well, he could have benefited for some therapy.
Yeah, he could have. And maybe a Xanax or 2.
I wonder, we had this conversation with Dahmer, I think, if the parents had put them in therapy.
Right.
If therapy was a thing, would it change it?
Or if his dad would not have died, because he had such a bond with his dad, and his dad was not as religious as his mom, but didn't drink or do anything. He had 1 beer at a party once, and his wife flipped out. So he was a loving, caring father. Yeah. If that would have...
And, kept the nuclear family together, you know? How different things would have been.
Right. Because it doesn't...
Or would it have been any different?
Who knows?
It's you can never know, right?
He started drinking after his stepfather came into the picture, because he was drinking and abusing and doing all that stuff. So, monkey see, monkey do.
Definitely. That's bad. That's sad.
It is sad.
And interesting that he also died fairly young. Of a fatal heart attack.
Yeah.
The genetics there.
Yeah.
Just thumbs down.
Which my dad died of a fatal heart attack at age 39.
39?
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah. I was 5.
39?
39, yeah. So, I feel like I'm going to go with the heart attack too, probably.
Are you sure?
Probably.
When's the last time you got blood work?
It's been a while.
Girl.
Yeah.
Go get your levels checked.
Yeah, I need to do a
Everything.
An everything check.
Well, the kids are going back to school.
Yeah, I get it
Yeah,
done
you
then.
have
Yeah. Yay.
Yay. Okay, well, that was certainly something.
That was something.
I can't believe I didn't realize.
Yeah, I think sometimes it takes me a while to figure out what we're talking, or when I'm listening, not what we're talking.
Sometimes it takes me a while to figure out what the fuck you're doing here. Like, why are you even at my house on this Thursday
Why
night?
are you here? Who are you? Just like my kids when at the water park, did I tell you this?
No.
I like grab them and they're like, who are you? Stop touching me. As we go by the lifeguards, I'm like, oh my God, please stop.
Oh, you told me Preston
Yeah.
was doing that, yeah.
He's doing it again today. Who are you? Why are you touching me?
Ma'am,
Who
you're
is this
scaring
lady?
me.
Damn it, child.
I would leave him.
Right.
Figure out your own way home, Preston.
Peace out. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's it.
until next time.
Until next time.
You can find us at
Instagram at the Murder Mamas.
That was so bad.
You confused me.
So bad.
Facebook at the M Mamas. Twitter at the Murder
You went
Mamas.
too fast. Because you can't say murder on Facebook.
Oh, because you can't say murder on Facebook, yes. And email us at themurdermamas@gmail.com. Good
Blech.
Lord.
Blech.
You know it. You got it.
All right.
It's in our show notes.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.